This week, we will propose 2 recipes. The first one will show how to preserve meat in pork lard, and the second being one of the many ways to eat it. The plate is called Plato de los Montes de Malaga. This is a perfect dish for the cold winter sailing cruise. The pork preserved in lard is a traditional Spanish dish. It is very practical for extended cruises since the meat can be kept for months.
Se me ha olvidado que
Let's start with a small tip. Adding salt to the garlic cloves will avoid them to spit out of the bowl when you crush them. In this case, we add 1 teaspoon. That will be enough salt for the entire recipe. The oregano and thyme will give this so special Mediterranean taste to the meat. The water will remove the acidity of the vinegar that we will add later. I add the same quantity of water as vinegar, half of a cup. Vinegar breaks the chemical bonds that hold protein strings in a twist, causing the proteins to denature or unravel and tenderize. This is why we will keep the meat in a vinegar-based marinade for preservation. It is now time to marinate the meat for at least 24 hours in our vinegar-based marinade. The size of pieces of meat will impact the cooking duration. I like to chop it into small pieces. It is easier to cook and after to prepare. Besides preserving the meat, the marinade will also give a taste to the pork. It is a very important step in the preparation of the pork loin. 24 hours later, it is time to drain the meat. Removing the marinade will decrease the acidity of the dish. Some people add back a little bit of marinade when cooking the pork. It is a question of taste. I personally don't do it since I don't like a too strong taste of vinegar. While the meat is draining, it is time to heat the lard. The lard is used in many Spanish dishes. It participates in the preservation process, but also gives a unique taste. The pork's lard is 100% animal fat and in this case, coming from the pork belly. At room temperature, the lard is solid and you will have to heat it before cooking the meat. It can be kept for a very long period of time. When the lard is liquid, it is time to cook the pork at low-medium heat. For 750 grams, it can take over 30 minutes depending on how big are the pieces. Check from time to time to see if it is tender. A few minutes before the end, add the paprika. We put it at the very end to avoid the paprika to burn and give a bitter taste to the meat. The red color of the paprika also gives the name of the dish. Colora with the pronunciation of the south of Spain means red. Once the meat is tender, it is time to remove it and store it in a clean container with a lid. First, put the pork and then cover completely the meat with the lard from the cooking. The layer of fat will protect the pork and ensure good conservation. From there, you can keep the meat in the fridge or a cool place during months. It is very important to not cover the container before the meat is completely cold and the lard is solid. Before eating, Heat the meat in a pot with some of the lard. Obviously, there is no need to add any extra fat. I prepare the fried potatoes in a frying pan with olive oil. In the same oil, we will fry the small green peppers and the eggs.
Lomito.
El Plato de los Montes, the mountain plate, is yet another well-kept and cherished secret of Malaga. A generous plate of fried potatoes, 1 or 2 pieces of pork, 1 fried egg, and fried small green peppers. I suggest to mix and match a combination of everything together to make that perfect bite. This plate of heaven is always best served with an ice-cold beer or wine after a long day of cruising. I hope you enjoy it and thank you for watching and subscribing to my channel.